Most of us are culturally engineered to consume. Since the moment the smartphone became the center of modern life, we've been trained to interact with the economy as passive buyers rather than structural owners. The math of this conditioning is quietly devastating. Purchasing every new iPhone model over the last 2 decades totals roughly $22,000 in lost capital for the average consumer. This chart shows the opportunity cost of that retail trap. If that same $22,000 had been invested into Apple stock over the exact same period, the compounding equity growth would be worth over $326,000 today. This wealth gap is a deliberate feature of the system. It relies on a public that funds corporate growth through spending, rather than participating in the actual ownership of that growth. Operating in the modern economy strictly as a consumer leads to inevitable financial hollowing. Survival in the next decade requires a permanent shift toward ownership. Financial hollowing is only the first phase. In the landscape of incoming AI, if you are not an owner of the technology, your labor and societal meaning is being methodically deleted. We are already seeing the early signs of this contraction. Right now, an unprecedented percentage of men aged 25 to 35 are disconnected from the workforce, spending their prime earning years isolated at home. To put this into context, the current male workforce disconnection actually surpasses the peak isolation seen during the worst years of the Great Depression. Algorithmic automation and tech gamification have created a highly effective post-work simulation. It pacifies the public with digital dopamine while stripping away their long-term economic utility. This demographic collapse is the canary in the coal mine. As artificial intelligence accelerates, it begins to dissolve the foundations of all traditional labor. While a $1 trillion tech payout flows to a small group of architects, a population trained only to consume faces total psychological and economic displacement. While the retail public is distracted by consumer tech, the ultra-wealthy are playing an entirely different, heavily gate-kept financial game. The public stock market is sold to the masses as the primary vehicle for wealth, yet it leaves everyday investors fully exposed to massive crashes and volatility. The elite alternative is found in private equity. These investments, made into private companies rather than public exchanges, have outproduced every single public stock market globally for 40 consecutive years. Over a 39-year period, an average S&P return of 9% turns a $1 million initial investment into $28 million. Look at the difference applying the gate-kept private equity return of 15.7%. That shift turns that exact same $1 million into more than $328 million. This wealth is built on asymmetric risk-reward. Billionaires do not take massive gambles. They risk small amounts of capital for massive, highly probable upside, often risking as little as 6 cents for every dollar of potential gain. This strategy relies on a specific structural configuration, holding 8 to 12 uncorrelated private investments. Diversifying across these specific assets reduces systemic risk by 80% without capping the potential upside. The ultra-wealthy are building uncorrelated financial fortresses to survive the exact economic chaos their AI technologies will soon inflict on the general public. Zooming out from these portfolios, we are facing a societal shockwave driven by the rapid arrival of artificial general intelligence and robotics. Historical labor disruptions usually gave society generations to adjust. The transition from 80% of humans working in agriculture to just 3% took over 150 years to play out. This comparative timeline shows why AI is an unprecedented threat. It disrupts both muscle and mind simultaneously, compressing a century-long societal transition into a mere handful of years. Rapid displacement historically leads to severe social consequences. In the 1800s, the Luddite uprisings saw workers violently destroying the machines that rendered them obsolete, a predictor of the instability we are facing now. The current societal safety net is entirely unequipped for this speed of change. This impending transition offers no systemic protection for those whose roles are being automated away. This presents an individual ultimatum. You can no longer rely on traditional labor to provide your financial certainty or your societal significance. To survive this shift, you must abandon the conditioned mindset of being a maintainer of circumstances and become an active creator of your own value. You must stop feeding the machine as a passive consumer. Secure your future by aggressively retooling your skills to find ownership and asymmetric leverage. The speed of this transition suggests a widening divide. As AI replaces traditional employment, the economy shifts toward a model where those who own the infrastructure architect the future, while those who only consume face rapid obsolescence. Subscribe to the CEO Brief and confront the reality by commenting your raw truth below.